You don't have to be the fastest artist, okay? Because sometimes you need to allow the slow pacing to be in order for your ideas to fully brew, and to allow for something else to come into the picture, to come into your path that steered you into like the direction you need to be going into. All right, let's get Summer down. Oh, girl. I don't know why that just jump scared me, but it did. Yeah. Anywho, what it do? It's time for another late night thoughts with Skelly. High key, I like it with the light off. All right. For those who don't know the origins of late night thoughts with Skelly, this is the world that started it all. Okay. Years ago, I sat in this very world and filmed my very first late night thoughts with Skelly. Ooh. And filmed my very first late night thoughts with Skelly, which I will probably put a picture of the thumbnail up because I have it on my DJ channel right now. And I don't know if I want to re-upload it to my main channel. But I did end up re-uploading one of my other ones to my main channel just to try to get everything like cleaned up and consistent. And also because like I just like having a record of it from before, right? I like to be able to look back and see my growth and see what I past talked about. And honestly, with Late Night Thoughts with Skelly, this is like a journal entry. This is where I free throw my thoughts, and boom, here it is. Because unfortunately, when it comes to writing, I have to take periods where I slow down. And it's the same thing with art too, because I deal with a chronic issue where I can't really write or like type. And like some days it's just like a struggle. Sometimes I just push through it, but that's probably not the healthiest thing to do, which is why I started doing this. But enough about the origins. Let's go ahead and get into what I want to talk about today. And what I want to talk about today is how I find the most love within writing and the most peace within sketching. So I found a way to combine the two. For me, when it comes to my art practice, it has been a long journey. Let me tell you, a long journey to get to the point where I am now. In the beginning of my art career, yeah, it's a career. Straight from when I was young, I wanted to be an artist. I knew that through and through, that I was destined to be a creative individual and creative being. But keep in mind, I did not say like, oh yeah, I'm going to be an artist. It's just deep within me, it's deep within my core. I've always been pulled into this aspect of creating this whole new design, creating a whole new character, just creating like these images straight from like the inner mechanisms of my brain. One thing I've always been fond of is storytelling. When I started my art career, I started as a photographer, specifically darkroom photography, where even with that, I always took an approach of like, what is the story behind the image? What is the story that it is telling? And then at the same time of me becoming a photographer, that's when I started writing my own short stories, okay? I started to bring out some of my original characters. I did start with fan fiction, which I think a lot of writers do, right? A lot of writers do start as fan fiction writers, but I quickly got out of that. I only wrote like one finished fan fiction and one, like a half of one. It wasn't even half. It was just like a few chapters and I'm like, oh, I want to write about my own characters. I want to write about the own movies that are playing in my head. And so I began doing that. But then that's right when I started college too. So I ended up putting my writing on the back burner and delving into experimenting more with photography, especially digital photography, because this is when I got my first DSLR, okay? And that's when I ended up branching outward from photography into video art, okay? And honestly, when I look back over this whole journey, I would not change a single thing about it, because through every exploration, through every bit of my journey, I ended up fine-tuning my practice, my approach, as well as understanding that I find the most love within writing and the most peace within sketching. And therefore, I wanted to find a way to combine the two. Which then enter in my whole like cinematics is what I like to call them. I just call them cinematics because I didn't know what else to call them. Where whenever I ended up hopping into VR chat, which is what I'm in right now, okay? When I ended up hopping into VR chat, I therefore started experimenting with doing like these cinematics where on my TikTok I would post like me reenacting like audio clips, but with my own like kind of story to the actual clip itself. And then also I would then create like sometimes these cinematics for my own DJ mixes. And honestly, with those, I would look at those as like sketches in themselves because they were mini, they were quick, they weren't like long lasting workflows, which honestly was wonderful because bottom line, I need the flexibility of choosing between various different mediums and various different topics, subject matters, stuff like that in order to express my creativity. And by doing like these mini video like sketches and like even sketching in general, like being able to like take on like, these like mini projects, it allowed me to like quickly move through different aspects that I want to explore and therefore further enhance my creative practice, which now leads to where I'm at now with my creative practice, right? I feel that now I'm starting to finally get to the place where I've been working towards, right? Because recently I have been getting back into my writing, into my fiction writing, and I know this is the basis for what I want to do. I have been heavy deep learning Blender, heavy deep learning how to sculpt, how to model, and next up will be animation because I want to get to the point where I'm turning my short stories into these little cinematics as well, where I'm taking a snippet from my story and animating it and bring it to life in another way, and perhaps even turning some of them into like illustrated novels. So I've been like researching illustrated novels a lot because I do not feel that comics or graphic novels is exactly the type of art that I want to apply to my own like stories, right? It's like it's a piece of what I will be applying to my art. And honestly, I'm super excited for this journey because even with learning Blender renders, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I had this deep feeling resonating within my being that this is where I'm supposed to be aligned to. The same feeling I get whenever I'm writing. And honestly, I hope you guys join me for the journey. I hope you guys enjoy seeing the process of it all. I just wish I could work a little faster, but you know what? Being fast is not everything, okay? That's one thing. Oh, hello. That is one thing I'm learning, okay? Is that you don't have to be the fastest artist, okay? Because sometimes you need to allow the slow pacing to be in order for your ideas to fully brew and to allow for something else to come into the picture, to come into your path that steered you into like the direction you need to be going into. And like, because I am working at such a slow pace when it comes to creating the cinematics that I'm wanting to create, honestly, I will still delve into the whole like experimenting with the comic graphic novel style. And I kind of wish that illustrated novels were more of a thing so that I could have more examples to pull from. And going back to that slow pace, because I understand that with my Blender projects, they take much more time to produce, which is why I will still be showcasing some of my sketches where I'm experimenting with applying techniques for comics and graphic novels into my writing. That way I can combine the two. Honestly, I might even just show the pages that I'm sketching when it comes to a short story, which I can give an example as well, okay? But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be doing, of course, more late night thoughts with Skelly, as well as more of the series that I'm calling the wrap up, where it's like my art vlogs essentially. So stay tuned. I'll see you in the next video. Oh, my finger. Okay. Deuces.